Welcome to PeopleSoft Now. I'm Rebekah Jackson. It's time to kick off the new season with our annual conversation with Paco Aubrejuan, our Senior VP. Where are we in investing in PeopleSoft? What's driving that investment strategy? And what can you expect next from Oracle? Let's find out. Paco, it's been another wild year. Thanks for joining us.
Sure, great to be here.
All right. So we're recording this right as the Quest Blueprint 4D conference is wrapping up, which for our team was our first experience with an in-person event. What was it like being back in person with customers?
It was great. It was, we've been engaged with customers throughout the pandemic, but it was really nice seeing people in person and reconnecting with a lot of the old familiar faces that we've seen and all the new people. So it was really nice to be there in person with both the team and the customers.
Your keynote at Blueprint was packed with content and live product demos. Let's talk about a few of the key topics that you touched on. First, how long can PeopleSoft customers continue to run on PeopleSoft?
Well, that's customer specific. Each one's different, but the question or the answer that I want to kind of explain is how long is Oracle going to continue to invest in it? Because ultimately, it's the customer's choice how long they run on PeopleSoft. We made the decision a long time ago that we were going to continue to invest in PeopleSoft and support PeopleSoft as long as our customers were running PeopleSoft, and we've got thousands of customers still running PeopleSoft. So Oracle's commitment around the investment that we made way back in 2006 continues, and here we are in 2022 still investing in PeopleSoft. The one thing that we did change a few years ago based on customer feedback was the explicit commitment around our lifetime support policy and that we document for our customers. And the change that we made is we've moved to a 10-year model where we have 10 years of support on PeopleSoft. It doesn't mean we're planning to stop in 10 years, but we have a 10-year commitment. And then every year, if we don't have a plan to stop, we add a year to that. So there's effectively always a 10-year rolling window where the customers where they can have the confidence that we're going to continue to invest and support the PeopleSoft product. So the question then comes, or the answer comes back then again to how long can customers run on it? That's really up to them. Ultimately, it always has been, always will be. And while we encourage our customers to look and consider our cloud applications and move to the cloud at some point, ultimately we don't want them to do that because we're forcing them off of PeopleSoft. So it's up to the customer, but from an Oracle perspective, the clock is not ticking at this point.
And I know that we're still investing in PeopleSoft, delivering new features that add value for the line of business, kind of making that question, how long do we stay on PeopleSoft and when do we move to cloud, really one that customers can decide based on the value, that
Right.
they get from the respective applications.
Right.
Why are we still investing in the PeopleSoft applications and capabilities?
We're investing in PeopleSoft because it's important for our customers. We are a trusted partner, or want to be considered a trusted partner to our customers for their other technology and application needs. We ultimately want them to look at the relationship they have with us if they're running PeopleSoft, see that we've delivered on our promise, that we've delivered a lot of value with in the PeopleSoft applications, and that we are the logical choice for them when they're looking at whether it's their next generation of applications and moving to the cloud, or it's new technologies and new functionality, new applications. We want Oracle to be the clear answer that they go to, and the kind of the most direct way to get there is to continue to be a valued partner and a trusted partner on the platform that they're running today, which for these customers is PeopleSoft.
How do we decide which investments we continue to make in PeopleSoft across the product line, applications and technology?
Yeah, so we have to balance this. We need to make sure, ultimately it's my job, but it's our team's job to deliver investments on products that have a lot of customers using them, and on products that are going to have a real impact on the line of business and the capabilities of the line of business and the evolving needs of the line of business, and investments on kind of the cost equation for PeopleSoft and maintaining being able to run PeopleSoft effectively at the lowest cost possible. So we have the investment that we're going to make. We're very careful about making sure that it has the largest impact possible on our customers' ability to derive continued value or an increased value out of PeopleSoft at a lower cost over time.
So let's talk about a few of those. The search experience is one of the areas that has been getting a lot of focus and attention in the last couple of releases. Why is that?
If you think about search, search is the beginning of everything you do in almost any technology experience, right? So whether you're on the internet looking for any information, or you're in the in our application wanting to make a change or log time off or approve a requisition or anything like that, you have to first find, search is really two parts. You have to get to where you need to go, and then you need to find the thing that you're looking for there. And that's, we don't even think about that anymore on the consumer internet. It's all one and the same, right? You don't think about where you need to go. You look for the thing you're looking for. So in enterprise applications, it's the same thing. But historically, if you think about search, you first need to navigate. Historically, you've had to navigate to the area you need to search for it, and then you need to put in a bunch of structured data that corresponds to the fields that we have in the database, and execute a search and hope you didn't misspell anything, and hope and maybe it finds results and maybe it doesn't. It's fundamentally doesn't align with what people's consumer experience has been historically in our applications.
And so can you talk a little bit about what we've done recently for search and what's coming up next?
Yeah, sure. So we've tried to take both the search and the navigation process effectively and address them with new solutions. And we've really done this over the last several releases iteratively. And we started by introducing a search engine and using that search engine to be able to index all the content in our application so you could find it quickly. And we rolled that out several releases ago. We called it Global Search. We used it in some of the specific applications, and it was good, but there were some things that didn't do as effectively as we needed it to, right? Number one, it wasn't really good at figuring out where you needed to go. It was really optimized about finding specific things. So we made some investments, made a set of targeted investments with PeopleTools 859 in what we call navigation search. So looking at things like where have I been recently? What have other people in my role looked for? So that if I'm using search, if I'm trying to use search to find out where I need to go, to the page I need to go to, it's really optimized for that. So we delivered kind of navigation-based search. We delivered, the other thing we delivered, the search indexes were not, they were only as up to date as the last time you ran the incremental indexing, which meant it didn't reflect exactly what was in the database. So also in PeopleTools 859, we delivered and are continuing to deliver in the applications what we call real-time indexing, which means that the data in the database is the same as the data in the indexes. So when I search using a search engine, it's the same data as if I search on the database. And those are all really good enhancements that we made. But what we still had is a lot of transactions that had kind of the old PeopleSoft search that was using SQL, that was, we delivered it, here's what you search on and here's the search results you get. And customers, if they wanted to make that, tune that for their processes and the data they have in their system, had to go customize it. So with PeopleTools 860, we're planning to deliver what we call a configurable search, which really unifies the search experience between our fluid pages and our classic pages, and gives the customers the ability to configure what they search on and what they get, and optimizes around the keyword-based search or the search engine-based search for all the components or transactions in the system. So it'll help reduce costs, it'll help improve usability, and make it easier for our customers to find what they're looking for, which, once you find it, then you can do something about it. But if you can't find it, you can't even start to do something about it.
I talked to a number of customers that have used configurable search as part of the job data modernization feature, and they can't wait to get it across the rest of the functional areas. I also have to say, I dropped into Sasank's session that he was doing at the conference, and he exclusively used the search bar up top to search for pages that he was going to, and it was really exciting to see it in action.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to delivering that to everyone.
So Kibana's been another area of huge focus for us over the last few years. We have now delivered north of 300 different analytics and dashboards across the application areas. What's new or changed with Kibana since the last time we talked about it last year?
So Kibana, for anyone who doesn't know, is the analytics solution that runs on the search indexes. And the reason that we feel like it's important is because it's it's faster to implement, it's cheaper to implement, and it has a very, very broad set of visualizations that are available. It's easy to build dashboards, but almost most importantly, it doesn't run against your transaction database when you're executing, when you're running a chart. So it doesn't slow things down, which a lot of our customers are very concerned about using the existing embedded PeopleSoft analytics like pivot grids, because it executes a SQL search against the database. And if you have a lot of users doing that, it can slow things down. So that's why it was important. And we focused for the first a release or two on getting the technology right. And we're still continuing to improve the technology, both not Kibana itself as much as the PeopleSoft integration with it, our ability to get data there, the ability to consume Kibana analytics within PeopleSoft, the applications. But really the focus over the last year has shifted to content delivery. And as you alluded to, and we're across the applications now, across the whole suite, we have been focused on delivering dashboards and visualizations, and what's behind that, which is the most important part, is the indexes, so that to deliver the data from the database into a form where Kibana can be used now to create dashboards, so that our customers can easily use those to create their own dashboards, their own visualizations, and embed those in PeopleSoft. So that's been our focus.
It's been exciting to see, as customers adopt Kibana, the mix of using what we've delivered, as well as those that are using the indexes to create their own dashboards. Pretty exciting.
Yeah, very exciting.
Another area that you talked about in your keynote, and I think was perhaps the area that drew the most excitement on social media as I was posting, pictures from your demo, was showing the logging of an expense report using Microsoft Teams and our Picasso, or the PeopleSoft digital assistant. You made the point in your roadmap presentation that our investment and the customer's value in the digital assistants is more than just what our team is doing. Can you talk a little bit about that and why that's important?
Yeah, so as part of our overall PeopleSoft strategy, our goal is to leverage, to keep PeopleSoft as modern as possible, but to leverage investments that are happening outside of PeopleSoft and allow our customers to deploy those and consume those within PeopleSoft. And Search and Kibana was an example of that. With the digital assistants, there's the industry is adopting conversational interfaces, and you see that on the consumer internet, obviously, and we're doing that within PeopleSoft. And the exciting thing about it is that Oracle has a large investment in a technology called the Oracle Digital Assistant, which is being used to deliver solutions across Oracle products and specifically across our cloud products. And we're taking that same technology and leveraging it within PeopleSoft to deliver digital assistants for PeopleSoft. And we've got a number of digital assistants, I believe 6 digital assistants that we've delivered. Those digital assistants all have skills. So for example, an employee self-service digital assistants may have the ability to log vacation time and the ability to log a e-procurement, check on an order that you've logged for business cards, for example. 2 different skills across different parts of PeopleSoft that come together in a single digital assistant. So we're putting the work into PeopleSoft to integrate to it and to expose PeopleSoft content in the form of web services, REST services that the digital assistant can consume. But there's a whole team that we have working on bringing the digital assistant and investing in making the digital assistant the best solution on the market for conversational interfaces, and we get to leverage all that work. So, the example that I showed at the conference was one of the things they've done is allow you to use the Oracle Digital Assistant technology, but deliver the end user interaction for that in Slack and Microsoft Teams and other platforms, so you don't have to be in PeopleSoft to get PeopleSoft content. And we're able to leverage that that investment with the PeopleSoft solution. So it's exciting to see that how these new technologies are changing the way the customers interact with PeopleSoft information, not necessarily in PeopleSoft itself.
So in addition to some of those technology areas that we're tapping into, we're also, continually updating the roadmap of features and functions and capabilities in the application. How would you characterize where we're investing? And are there any, specific features of note?
I mean, I won't go through we'll go through the specific features, I think, in the specific product areas, because there's a long list of them. But in terms of the line of business, we're focused on continuing to deliver fluid-based applications. And, our fluid technology is one that we've had for quite a while. We've had it out there for a while now. We're continuously, it's where the investment in PeopleSoft and PeopleTools is in terms of the UI and the user experience. But when we either when we either convert a classic set of transactions over to Fluid, or we build a new set of capabilities and we deliver those in Fluid, it gives us the opportunity to simplify, to modernize, to make the solution easier to use and more effective for our customers. And so we've been investing there. We're going to continue to invest there, and that's a big area. The other area is around cost reduction, and so we're continuing to look at how do we use advances in technologies, cloud-based technologies, things like that, to help our customers reduce the costs associated with running PeopleSoft. So that's the other broad area that we're focused on.
So maybe stepping into some of the more technology focused discussions, what about PeopleTools? PeopleTools 8.6.0 is coming soon?
Yeah, it's on its way, and just with the applications, we're delivering multiple images a year. With PeopleTools, we're delivering images every 12 to 18 months, 15 to 18 months in general. Sometimes a little bit longer, not usually a little bit shorter. But yeah, so we're working on PeopleTools.
And already, I know planning scope for what we're going to put in Tools 8.6.1. Yeah. So one of the areas in technology that has been a significant area of focus in the last couple of releases, and I know in Tools 8.6.0, is automating lifecycle management. Why is that important?
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the costs associated with running PeopleSoft or any application, but in this case PeopleSoft, it's managing the change, right? And every time these are not static environments. There's things change. There's new releases of PeopleTools. There's new releases of applications, new content that comes out, and that the lifecycle management of managing that change process is where there's a lot of cost. So we've been focused. The current PeopleSoft application with the move to continuous delivery and the PeopleSoft Update Manager and all that was a big step forward. But we're continuing to make changes in those areas to automate more of that, to allow our customers to shorten the amount of time it takes to take change in, and to reduce the number of people that are required there. So, as an example, one of the areas around in lifecycle management we've improved recently is the PeopleSoft patches effectively that come out on top of our images. The customers used to have to go out and download those and load them into their source image. Now that happens automatically. They don't even need to know it's happened. Their source is always current, as an example. We've automated a lot of the processes of generating the patches, applying the patches, merging their customizations in on things like that, and improvements in the test framework so they can automate all the tests associated with that. So really the life cycle around the life cycle of the life cycle we've made improvements across that, and both in previous PeopleTools releases in 8.5.9 and coming up in 8.6.0.
I'm having more conversations than ever with customers who are either already running PeopleSoft in Oracle Cloud Infrastructure or who are actively considering it. It's one obvious way customers can take advantage of cloud with PeopleSoft.
Yeah.
Where would you say that we're at in terms of customers adopting OCI?
So I think we've come a long way. I mean, we have hundreds of customers now that are running PeopleSoft on OCI, and I think the feedback that I've gotten from our customers on that experience, not just the cost savings that they've achieved, but the agility they have, the performance that they've got, has been very positive. I hear no complaints really about how they can run PeopleSoft on Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. And My expectation is that over the next several years that most customers will move, and customers that are continuing to run on PeopleSoft and that are still waiting on a move to cloud applications will move PeopleSoft into cloud infrastructure because it's cheaper, it's better, and they have more agility there. And so that's the infrastructure itself. The game changer, though, and the thing that really makes a big difference is our ability to automate the lifecycle management processes we were talking about before using PeopleSoft Cloud Manager, because we know and effectively have control over the entire stack, right? Not just the PeopleSoft applications and not just people tools, but everything that's happening below that, because it's all software driven now. So for example, if you wanted to do a people tools patch, that's a click of a button now, right? And it'll run the process. If you want to do a database refresh and take your production data and refresh your test database, that's a click of a button. And so we've built all that automation in, and what we're doing now is taking to the next step, which is automating the automation through what we call Policy Manager, so that you can set up schedules for all of those things. You can have them dependent on each other. You can set up groups of automation. You can have it be schedule-based or event-based, so that like when a patch comes in, it does something with that and creates and updates your system. And we're trying to move to a more kind of hands-off version of PeopleSoft using Cloud Manager.
Yeah, and one of the things that you obviously talked about is auto scaling, the kind of the latest capability in Cloud Manager that takes advantage of Oracle's artificial intelligence and machine learning capabilities and moves us towards an environment which can very quickly and automatically respond to changes in user load on the system. Can you talk a little bit about how auto scaling works and why it's important?
Yeah, so one of the value propositions and fundamental differences between a cloud infrastructure and a regular data center is the elasticity, right? You should be able to grow your capacity, to add capacity, shrink capacity very easily without having to find power and buy servers and rack those and all that. So that's a fundamental premise. And so the question really becomes, how do we leverage the fact that we have elasticity on demand through software? And so we've built in, we already had the ability in Cloud Manager to say, I want to add more application servers and web servers because my user load is going up, where you could do that through basically controls within Cloud Manager, or you could do that directly in OCI and wire that up. But we wanted to make it more hands-off. And so what we did is we spent quite a bit of time actually creating a closed circuit system with PeopleSoft Cloud Manager and a Oracle Data Science cloud service that takes the operational data from PeopleSoft, from the systems and from People Tools, and constantly evaluates every few minutes, is evaluating those factors using machine learning algorithms that we have a closed loop training system on. So it trains itself, it uses the algorithms. When it detects an anomaly, we check to confirm that anomaly really is impacting or it will impact performance or is starting to impact performance. We send it through another set of algorithms the machine learning algorithms that will look at determining how much capacity we need to add. And then we automatically go and add that capacity to PeopleSoft. So the entire process from when we detect the anomaly till the capacity is added is 18 minutes. That can happen, and that's without anyone touching it. And then we scale that back down over time. As the need decreases, we're still using the machine learning, evaluating the data in the background, and can scale it down. And so it's really cool that we can do that. And the question is, how useful is that to PeopleSoft customers? And the interesting thing is we've tried this with a few of our customers, and we found that it didn't do anything because there were no anomalies. And there were no anomalies because PeopleSoft customers historically and other customers have scaled their system to their peak use plus some percentage. Peak use throughout the year, which means that they're generally running at way over capacity for most of the year, just because there's a few times a year where they may need that capacity, which is very expensive, right? And so what we're realizing now, what we're working with our customers on is the auto scaling provides them the opportunity to reduce their capacity, their baseline capacity below peak, and use the auto scale to handle the peak loads dynamically. And so if you look at what their kind of average capacity can be throughout the course of the year now using this model, it's much, much lower than their current baseline capacity, which is very high. So the opportunity not just to have a system that is more responsive and better performant, but to have a much, much lower cost system is significant. And we think that that's where we're going to see a lot of adoption, and working with our customers to understand that and get them to the point where they trust the system enough so that they're comfortable saying we'll scale down as a baseline because we know the system will scale up for us automatically when we need it.
I was pleased to see a number of customers really, their interest peaked and intrigued about the opportunity to try that out.
Yeah.
Obviously, a conversation about cloud and PeopleSoft customers taking advantage of cloud isn't complete unless we touch on Oracle's cloud applications.
Yes.
What's changed, again, since we've had this conversation last year, and what do PeopleSoft customers, in your opinion, need to know about Oracle Cloud Apps?
Yeah, I mean, the thing that's changed in the last year is we've got more capabilities, more functionality in our cloud Oracle Cloud applications, so Cloud HCM, Cloud ERP, Cloud Supply Chain Management, Cloud CRM, and Cloud CX. But I think more importantly, what's changed is we've got hundreds and hundreds of new customers, thousands of new customers that are successfully running our cloud applications. And a lot of those are PeopleSoft customers. So, a list of features is nice, but what really matters and what really gives me the confidence that I can go to our customers and say, our cloud applications are ready for you. You should consider moving to our cloud applications, is the fact that we've got, hundreds and hundreds of PeopleSoft customers that have done that successfully across every size company, across every industry, across every product area, across every region. So that breadth of success within the PeopleSoft, the ex-PeopleSoft, in this case for a lot of them, customer base of moving up to cloud applications, being successful with that move, being happy about their experience there, is what leads me to it was the case a year ago too. It's even more the case now because we have that many more customers that have done it successfully.
I've been really thrilled to see the approach, just some of the recent announcements in Cloud HCM as an example with journeys and Oracle Me, the approach in really diving in as well to the configurability, right? It really enabling, because that's something that's so important to PeopleSoft customers. They've always been able to tailor the system. And I really see the cloud applications understanding that and taking that to heart.
Yeah, and look, if you look at the market and if you look at independent analysts' reports, I mean, our cloud applications are in the leaders quadrant across the board, right? So it's not just us saying it; it's the market saying it. We get the validation by our customers, we have the validation by the analysts and other third parties, the partner ecosystem. So it's great to be in a position where, look, our job and my job, but our job is to make PeopleSoft a viable option for our customers, drive as much value, continue to provide a tremendous amount of value and capability for those that are continuing to run PeopleSoft. But ultimately, it makes me feel great that knowing that our customers have this really strong solution that eventually they'll move to, that are moving to now, and I can be confident in the fact that they're successful and happy with Oracle now, and I know that they're going to be successful and happy with Oracle when they move to cloud applications, and that makes our job, I think, a lot better and a lot easier, and that we have that confidence that their future looks good as well as their current state.
Well, I think that might be a wonderful place for us to wrap things up today. We covered a lot of ground. Paco, thank you so much for joining me.
Sure. Thanks, Rebekah.
We've covered a lot of ground, and for each of the topics we touched on, there's a lot more to discuss, show, and demo. Of course, the place to dive deeper into any PeopleSoft topic is at the Reconnect conference in October. It will be all virtual again this year, so wherever you run PeopleSoft, you can interact with our global product development team and the full community of customers and partners. We look forward to seeing you there.
Good, Sparky.